Are we all complete that we were supposed to be for the meeting, for the training?
Yes, the meeting is compulsory for just me and Ian. So every other person will just optional. And
Okay.
most of them are busy.
Okay, so we could start now. So this is a LOS training. This is a table of contents where we'll be checking or looking out into for LOS. Introduction, how to access the master database, how to update the quick LOS gross, how to update quick LOS net, how to generate custom group, and how to update the working interest file. So we'll go into the introduction. Are you familiar with LOS, Amdala? I think Agbenu should not have.
I know what it is, but I'm not really familiar with what's like how to prepare it or anything like
that. Okay. Agbenu, you are familiar with it now, right?
We use it a couple of times, so yes, just a little. A quick LOS viewer.
Yeah. So the training is to get us familiar with the workings of the LOS and the related tasks. The LOS is used to summarize our monthly or yearly production activities. We update it every month to form historical data that can be used for decision making. We have the quick LOS, which is used to get a quick summary of the production activity. We have the LOS generator on remote PC, which is used to generate all kinds of LOS. It is temporarily suspended. The LOS generator makes work easier, kind of, because it's an application that was developed by Dr. Anand. Instead of doing the manual extraction of different fields or different wells or different custom group, we use the LOS generator to run it, and it does the task for you. You just go and rest. By the time it's done extracting it, you discover that all the files have been downloaded. But for now, because of the challenge the generator is having, some months were omitted and we've suspended it now. Okay. So now we'll move to the next on the slide. Say how to access the master database. The master database is usually the monthly data for a particular month. Is a summary of the monthly data for that particular month. Usually what I do is every month I ask Ed if the monthly data has been updated on Wolfpack. Whenever you see WP means Wolfpack, okay? So everybody that needs to send input into the monthly database does that. Like Samuel prepares our production. Samuel produces our production activities for revenue activities, total quantity for gas, total quantity for oil, the revenue that we got from oil, the revenue that we got from gas. Samuel does that every month. He sends it to me, which I use it in running some recurring expenses. When I'm done generating the monthly recurring expenses, I send both the data that Samuel sent to me, which is the revenue apps, and my monthly revenue and my monthly recurring expenses. I send that to Ed. I guess Ovisha also has some expenses he sends to Ed every month. So those are the things that forms our activity for that month. And when everybody sends in all their data to Ed, Ed uploads it to Wolfpack. And by the time he's done uploading all the activities that needs to get into Wolfpack for that month, it emails me that all the data have been imputed into Wolfpack, that I should go and generate the monthly database. Let me show you a sample of the mail I normally send to Ed whenever I need the monthly database. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I send Ed a sample of this mail to request for the particular month I'm working on. This mail was sent in, sorry. Sorry for that. So this mail, Angela, I hope you know that we usually have 2-month lag in the oil and gas industry for any output that we need to produce for that particular month. Are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
aware of? Yeah. For instance, if I send this mail was for May
Me.
production monthly database. That means the particular time I will have sent it will be July. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I hope you know how it goes. So we don't operate on that particular. For instance, if we are to work on May production, it's going to be worked on in July. And if I'm going to work on June production activity will be worked in August, just like that. So every 2 months, we have a 2-month lag in any activity we are trying to work on, okay? So let me just go straight to, so once Ed tells me that the monthly database is available for us to pull out from Wolfpack, because it is the monthly database that we use in updating the quick LOS. So anytime you see MDB, it means monthly database. So this is what we use to update the quick LOS. This is the first input into the quick LOS. So for us to do that, are you aware? Are you familiar with? Come, let me pull it out. This Wolfpack now. There was a time Mr. Vikram said you should download Wolfpack into your system. Have you got that downloaded?
Yes, but
Can
we
you
are
hear me?
issues with it. So
But did you inform him? Because that's what you need to generate the monthly database, okay? What I
yes.
did is that I bookmarked it on my system here. So once this is where I bookmarked it into, let me just, sorry, just a minute. So this is it. I've already bookmarked Wolfpack on my Google Chrome. So once I need to generate the monthly database, I go to where I bookmark it, I click it. Are you seeing what I'm doing? So this is the first display of how it opens. So once you have this, you go to this part that shows apps. You click on it. Once you click on this app, you click on this Excel, then you open it, okay? So what I'm trying to do, I want to generate the monthly database for a particular month. It's taking time. I'm supposed to take. Okay, yeah, it's open to this place. So once you click on this Excel, you click on this open, it will open a cloud-based Excel for you. This is the Excel on my desktop, or the Excel that I'm using on my laptop. You can see that it's a little bit different from this. Are you seeing my cursor, the way I'm moving it around?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is my Excel on my laptop. This is the normal Excel I use on my laptop. This is a cloud-based Excel, which is opened from Wolfpack. So by the time I click on this and open it, it opens a separate Excel. Closed back, I don't know why. So usually to open down here, you can then maximize it. So by the time you have something like this displayed, this is where we normally go to update the monthly database. Mr. Vikram pinned it down to this part. So once you click it open, something like this will come up, okay? I have two open. Let me close one. So once that particular one I showed you open, why is it? I hope it's not because I'm doing this sharing that is causing this. I'm not supposed to do this. All right. So now, by the time you open it, this one shows us that it is in 2022 January. Okay. So we have to change it up. We change this year for the year we are working on. We are working on 2023. You change this part. Then let's assume that we want to generate this monthly database for June. You change it to 6. So by the time you have it done like this, you go to the formula. Okay. So when you go to the formula, you click on calculate now. You discover that, okay, by the time you click on calculate now, it will ask you to enter a username. The username we usually enter is ZZ. Okay, then you enter it. You okay it. Then you go to your formula, click on calculate now. It will start calculating. Usually it takes some minutes to calculate. I don't know if we will need to, because when Mr. Vikan was also showing me, he did allow it to finish calculating. It says it takes a lot of time because we have to get to 100% before we know that the one for June has been updated. Okay, so what you just do is that you can keep an eye on this. By the time it gets to 100, I will be stopping it now because I need to progress to other things. Okay, but at least you've got the message, right? You got how to go from Wolfpack, you got how we go from this part that I bookmark. Then you go to this app, you move to Excel, you click on Excel, you click on open. All right, hope you got that. So I wouldn't want us to stay for this thing to finish calculate. I see it's still in 17. By the time we wait, it might take some time. We'll have other things to do. So I will be stopping it now. So what I do is that if this calculation gets to 100, I will save it. There are two ways you can save this. You can decide to copy all by doing Control All. You can decide to copy this by selecting all this. You select everything. Let me just do it this way. So you can copy this way by copying this page, and then you open a new Excel, the Excel that is on your desktop. You can decide to open a new Excel, and then you paste whatever you have calculated there, you paste it here. Or you can decide to go by saving it into, you can decide to go this way. You save as. Usually when you want to save this, it will go to your local disk. That's where it will go to save. You can decide to create a particular folder, like I created a folder for Wolfpack. Anything I want to download from Wolfpack, I've created a folder here on my local disk. When I talk about my local disk, this is what I mean. This is my local disk. This, you on your system, you see something like this. So this is your local disk. This is the folder I created. So I have two things I usually generate from Wolfpack. I generate the DOI, which is the distribution of interest, and also generate the monthly database. These are the monthly database I've generated. You can see this one is for 2022, this for 2022 May up to June. So what I do is that every month I keep generating new monthly database. I save them on my Wolfpack, on my local disk. So those are the two ways you can go by any means you feel is comfortable for you. But if you are going through this route, there's something you have to be careful with. Let me show you. Let's assume that I want to save it on my local disk now. Let's assume that I want to save this on my local disk. I want to show you something. This, we are assuming that this is for June. This will still be calculated. By the time it's done calculating, this ought to stop. So this is what I've saved. This is not what I wanted to show you. Come in just a minute. I will save it as a copy of that month. There's something I wanted to show you. If I save that through that route, when I open this file, by the time I open this file, all these calculations will not be there. It will give me something like an error. Reason being that it's still picking some figure from this cloud-based Excel I have here. It's picking the formulas, and because I've saved it down to my local disk, the formula is not here on my local disk. It's going to give me error. So what I normally do is that by the time I create this, I will rename it to, I'll just copy this, then I'll save it as a duplicate figure. So by the time I open it, it will give me these settings. What I will then do is that I will come to this part, I will copy this whole thing and then paste it into this one that I've copied. Why I normally prefer doing this is I like the way this displays. You can see that it's a little bit different from this first one I told us to copy straight off. You can see that all these figures are string together. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Hello, are we there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So why I don't like going through that route of copying and creating a new Excel to paste it is that it shrinks all my figures together. I will now need to start extending maybe trying to open up and all that. I discovered that it wastes my time and it doesn't give me the outlook of what I actually need. So what I do is that I will save first. I will save these files. I will save it as a particular month, which is June that we are working on. Then I will copy it and have a duplicate of it. Then I will open this. By the time I open this, it will give me almost the same outlook of what I have here on my cloud-based Excel. I will then copy this part again and then paste it here. I'll then paste it here. In pasting it, I'll paste it as value. There are different types of pasting. Let me see if I can copy this now. Copy. Still calculating. This is taking the day. Mr. Vika didn't wait to all this because it takes a lot of time. So I don't know. Did you get the process of doing this? Because this takes a lot, I want to close it. So what I do is that if I've saved it there, I will copy it into a new Excel. I will duplicate it as this, then copy this outlook, and then save as value. You know, whenever you want to save when you are pasting, if there are different pasting that comes here, right? So you pick the one that shows as value. Let me just pick only this figure. This one I want to let me copy this now, and I want to paste it These are the different things that comes up, right? So this is the one I will use to paste what I've copied from this part. This is what I use to paste it. After you've copied all this, after you have copied all this, you come and then paste it into your into this new part. You paste it as value. Okay, I won't be pasting it. I'm just using this as a sample, because by the time you copy it and you want to paste it, these are the things that will come out. These are what will come out. Then this is what you use, so that it will not have the formula in it. It will only have it as value. Okay, so now we are done with the first task, which is updating or generating the master database. Do we understand that?
Yes.
Yanu?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so this one is the first process for you to update your Quick LOS. You have to generate your multi database, and you do that via Wolfpack, through that process I showed you. I just finished showing you now. So usually when I finish generating this on my desktop, I go and update it, because this is my own personal user area. I then go to where we normally save it in OneDrive. We usually save our multi-database in OneDrive. This is a file location. That's why I had to put all the file location for any specific one. So we save the multi-database in this file location. Okay, once you go through this part, this file part, you see where this one now, you can see is for the month of June. Okay, let's just have a trial to that part. Where is my remote PC? I usually use remote PC because I don't have direct access to OneDrive. I've contacted what's his name that is into IT, Jacob, yeah, several times. He hasn't been able to fix it. So what I do is that I walk through remote PC whenever I want to access the OneDrive. So in accessing or in saving what I've downloaded on my desktop, in saving it back into OneDrive, you go into your, so this is, I'm on remote PC now. Oh, sorry. What's this? So I go to, this is OneDrive folder. So this is OneDrive now. For me to save the multi-database OneDrive, is usually saved in the upstream, no, not upstream, commercial. Then you go to analytical. The file, just use a path. I'm just going straight. You use a path, you get it. So these are all the multi-database we have up to June. Okay. So this is the multi-database we have up to June. So what you do is that by the time you download this, you have to change this into 1010. Okay. By the time you are downloading it, it gives you figure of this. It gives you this when you download it from Wolfpack. This is what it gives you. So by the time you have it saved in your remote PC in OneDrive, you have to change this code. The oil quantity code is 101010, and then the gas quantity code is 202020. You have to ensure you change it. If you don't change it, it might not be an issue, but by the time you take it to Quick LOS, if you don't change it, it won't give you what you actually need. So by the time you save it on your desktop, you copy it. What I normally do is that I'll just come here, whatever month I'm working on, I'll copy it and then save it straight up into my, why is this thing not showing? No bookmarks. So I'll just come and paste it into this part. So by the time I paste it, I will get it open. Okay. So when I open it, this is what I will have. This is our monthly database. We have to move it down to Quick LOS. Okay. So this is our Quick LOS. I've opened it down on my desktop. But normally what I do is I move between the remote PC and my desktop to work on. You have to look for the best way that suits you or what will work best for you. So what I do is that once I'm done updating it first on that monthly database on remote PC, I will then open it and then save a copy of that particular one here. This Quick LOS I got here is the one that was updated up to June. So just a minute. So what I do is that you open this monthly database you have here, and then you also have your Quick LOS as well. Okay. Let me close one of it. So I have two. I have my monthly date, my Quick LOS open, and then I have my monthly database open, and then my Quick LOS. What I then do is I will move this. Are you see what I'm doing? You create a copy of it. You want to move it into your Quick LOS. So all this, your Quick LOS was last updated to May. I will then update it to June. I'm using the May Quick LOS I updated to do this so that we can have a brief of what we have done. So by the time I have this moved, don't forget I told us that this should be changed to 101010. And then this should be changed to 202020. Just like you can see the one I've changed this one. This one was for May. This one was for April. So it has to be changed. When you download it recently, it will have that 96 and all that as the code. You are the one that has to change it. Don't forget to change it. So all this, every month I make sure I change it. This is the first thing you do. So by the time you change this, we are now in June. I've changed the quantity. So the next thing I'll be doing here is, if you look at this Quick LOS that we just generated from the monthly database, you see where it ends. Let me move it fast. It ends in IR, all right? Are you seeing it? So the first task is, after you've adjusted the quantity, oil quantity and the gas quantity, you quickly go into your previous month. You copy this part. So you copy this part from IR, all right? Okay, before you do that, Mr. African advised that I should change it to formula. Reason being that if you don't change it to formula, each time you are copying anything, it will be recalculating and it will slow your work down. So the best practice is that you change this to formula, you change it to manual. Okay, I've actually changed it. So, but sometimes it might be in automatic. If you don't change it to manual, each time you do any move on this part, it will be recalculated. You can see what we have here. It will be calculating and it will waste your time, especially when you are working on net LOS. That one is because the file on net LOS is quite heavy. So it's advised that you change this into manual to make your work easier. So by the time you change it into manual, you come here from IS, you copy down up to this last point, which is JR. Okay, you copy it. Then you move into the month you are working on, which is June now. You then come into IS. In pasting, the first time I told us we paste in value. If we paste in value, it's only the figure that we have copied from this previous month that will come. What we need here is the formula. We need formula so that all this figure that we have here, we calculate into this new month. So we paste, this is formula. You can see this one, it says paste. When you paste this, it might not really give you what you want. This one paste as value. That means it pastes only the numbers. Then this paste into formula. You paste this into formula. By the time you paste this into formula, before you change your calculation, what I usually do is that I will update my working interest. This is our monthly working interest. These two. This is where we update our working interest in Quick LOS. So I have my working interest. That one is how to generate more working interest from Wolfpack is a different lesson entirely. I left it to the last point. If I'm unable to, there's a video which Mr. Vikant has prepared. You could watch it, but let's just look at how time goes. If time allows us, I can have a practice of how to go about it. If not, the video is self-explanatory. But what I'll be doing here is a working interest that I've already prepared for Wolfpack. I've done the process and I've gotten the final figure. That's what I'll be giving us here. So what I want to do now is I want to update the working interest on Quick LOS. I've already calculated my working interest for June. Okay. So this is our auxiliary Proline working interest, which I've done for June. I will open it up. So I told us that working interest is a different lesson entirely. We've already calculated this working interest for June. I want to transport this working interest so that we'll update it into this June Quick LOS. All right, let me close this. I don't need this anymore. So what I'll do is that this is my Quick LOS and this is the working interest which I updated from Wolfpack. So what I do is that for me, if you look at these two, the names are not they are not directly like, the names are not really following each other. There are some that starts, you can see what we have here. This number here is 210. Atlas sale, the field, this one is 210. If for instance the names and the numbers were the same, I would have just done a copy and paste of these two and then it will update into my Quick LOS. But because these two didn't align, I have this 210 Wolfpack code. I have it as number 3, but on my working interest file, it's as number 1. So how do I do it? I cannot be doing it manually by looking for 210. Oh, we have working interest of 1. I will now come and update it here. The working interest here. I cannot do it manually. It will take my time. You can see that here we have 210. Here we have 1. If I start taking it one by one, I might end up spending the whole day or the whole week trying to update the working interest. So what I do is I use the SLOOKUP. SLOOKUP uses number to align into different sheet or whatever you are looking out for. So since I want to update this working interest, I have working interest here and I also have working interest here. What am I going to do for me to move this figure so that it can align into each other is I'll use it. Are you familiar with SLOOKUP? Yanu and Amdala. Are you both familiar with SLOOKUP?
No, heard about it, but never.
Okay, I actually learned it while I was doing Proline work, thanks to Mr. Vikrant. Anyway, it makes work easier for you and it also helps you to copy into any other number or whatever you are trying to. When you have two different sheets and the numbers are not really aligning into each other, you can pick up a number from a particular sheet onto another sheet using your SLOOKUP. So if I need to update this now, I'll do my SLOOKUP. I'll send you there's a video on SLOOKUP is shared with me. I will look for the video and also send to us by the end of this training. So I'll do SLOOKUP. By the time I type XLOOKUP, you have to pick it up here. If you just type everything and you didn't pick it up, it might not give you the right, the formula might not apply properly. So when you do this, I'm trying to update this. You use the Proline Wolfpack number to do this. So I'm updating this. I do S lookup of this figure. And then I go into this is the sheet I want to pick up figures from, all right? So I will take this, Control Shift down. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. So this is S lookup. The P4 is from the Quick LOS. Then Control Shift down, you put command, then Control Shift down into this part. Then you have command here as well. Okay. Then I'm working, the first one I'm working on is the working interest file, all right? So I do a Control Shift down here as well. So what this S lookup does is that peradventure there are some numbers in your Quick LOS that is not in your auxiliary pool interest. Is trying, okay, I want us to read this. Can see what is there. It says S lookup value, all right? We are looking up of value from Quick LOS. Lookup array. Lookup array means the number, what are we trying to look up in? We are looking up into this number, all these numbers that are here, right? And then if what is the number we want to return it to? Return to means what is the number we want to pick? The number we want to pick is working interest, okay? Then if not found, it's giving us a condition that what about if our figure we are looking out for, if it's not found, what should it return it to? Okay, when I send you the video, you will get more understanding of it. So I'm just trying to do a brief of the meaning of this S. You can see say S lookup value. The S lookup value we are looking up for is from our Quick LOS. The lookup array where we want to look up the figure from is from this working interest, line working Wolfpack number, right? Then what is the number we want it to look up for is the working interest. What if the number is not found? What should we do? Okay, that's what this other part is for. So let me go back so that we could. So here now, so I'm doing my S lookup. I'm looking up this number, right? Comma. The lookup array is this, right? And then what am I looking up for? What is the return array? Okay, the return array is working interest. Make sure you start from the beginning, okay? Then if not found, usually if I'm updating it on Quick LOS, if not found, I normally put it as 0. But when I'm working on my working interest directly from Wolfpack, I put it as if not found, I will put FNF. But for this Quick LOS, I don't normally put NF. What I do is, if not found, return it to 0. Okay, what it's trying to tell us is that if peradventure there are some wells, you know, of recent, we have some wells that have been divested. So what it's trying to tell us is that what if this well that we are looking up for is not among this working interest? What should we do? It means you should return it to 0. Then by the time you are done with that, you close this and then you enter it. All right, so it has updated. Mind you, I only did it for this first cell, right? So to apply the formula to the remaining cell, I'll just come here and Control N. I'll either double click it, okay, or I drag it down. Any of it will give you the same result. If you double click it, if you notice, this figure is the same, right? Who can tell me why this figure is the same? We are not supposed to have the same figure. There are different working interests, but this figure, if you notice, this figure is showing me as the same figure. Who can tell me why it's showing as the same figure? I can't hear you.
I said probably the formula did not update for the remaining line, so it's speaking.
Yeah, the formula has not updated because I still left it very good. I still left it on manual. Okay, but I don't normally change it. I will update it for this NRI before I will change the formula to automatic. Okay, so I will update this NRI as well. So I also do a X lookup here as well. S lookup here. I'm S lookuping this first one. Then the lookup array, I'm looking up. Please make sure you start from the beginning. Don't be tempted to just pick up anywhere. Make sure what I do is I take it, if I'm not seeing the first number, which is column A4, I will just put it here and start scrolling down. Okay, then you shift down. You can see that here now, this is where it's showing as a first number here, but it's wrong. You then pick it. We have already done working interest. Now we are doing NRI. I'll bring it down. Okay. Oh, sorry. Hence lookup this comma, then lookup arrays from this to the end, comma. Please, that was what I did. I didn't put comma at first. That was why I went back. So when you have done the lookup array, you put a comma, right? Then you return your cursor here. We are looking up for this N, and we have already done the working interest. This is what we are doing. The next one we are looking up for. You bring it from here down, comma. If not found, you return it to 0. Okay. Then you enter it. You will discover that by the time I apply this formula here, it will also have the same figure. So what I do is that after I've updated this part I told us about, and I also update my working interest, I will then change my formula here into automatic. You discover that everything will start calculating. If you look at this place now, it's showing calculation. Yeah, it's done calculating. So everything has applied now. Okay, even this one too, the formula has applied. If you look at this place, you can see the formula that are there. The formula as well has also applied. Okay, so now what we will now do, once we are done updating this quantity for oil and quantity for gas, and also you have updated this last part I told us about IX. After we have done copying the formula and pasting it here, and then I'm done updating the working interest and the NRR, I will change this formula into automatic. Okay. So once you are done with this particular first part, what I usually do is that, because if I will then copy this part, okay, I'll copy it and paste it as figure. Because if I don't paste it as figure, it will still be referencing where I pick up the formula, where I did the S lookup from. So in order, because there are so many things going on this quick LOS, I don't want to over label it with too many referencing to another sheet. So what I do is I will copy this particular part. After I've updated it from my auxiliary working interest, I will then paste it as figure. This is what I was telling us when I was saying that when you're pasting as figure, you discover now there is no more formula here. This is just like ordinary figure, but I've updated it. Don't mind you, I've updated it, but now it's having the actual working interest and NRI. Okay. So now, if I'm done changing this into pasting it into value, I will go back to my formula and change it to manual, because now I have other tasks to do. If I don't change it to manual, it will delay my work. So now, if you discover this particular part was last updated in May, right? So look at this part. Some cells have been hidden. What I do is that you unhide it. Okay. You unhide it. You can see the other months that follows are here, right? Okay, this was the one I unhide. So what you do is that any month you are working on, unhide the ones that are there. Pick only the month you are working on. We are working on June. So I will go back and hide the month I don't need, which is July to May. I will hide it. Okay, hide. So from this gross LOS, although I wrote down the steps on my slide, if you go through my slide, you will see what's how to update. Okay, this is how to update master database, and this is how to update the quick LOS. I stated the steps and also the folder location. All these things I'm doing now, I'm doing it on my desktop, okay? The folder location for quick LOS. This is the folder location, commercial, monthly reports, quick LOS. In the quick LOS, you usually change it, we usually update it for the particular month we are working on. Let me just go to remote PC so that you see what I'm saying. So the quick LOS, I can update it on my desktop and I can also update it from remote PC. If I update it on my desktop, what I do is that after I'm done updating it, I will move it back to remote PC. Or let me say wide drive, not remote PC now, it's wide drive. And then I hope you know remote PC and then the wide drive. I hope you know the difference between the two of them. Right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, again, you know the difference between the two, right? Again, so this is our wide drive now. The quick LOS is saved on this location, still on upstream. No, not upstream. It's saved on commercial rather, not upstream. So the quick LOS is saved on the first one we're doing, the monthly database. I went to this location. For the quick LOS is saved here, monthly reports. You will see this folder. This, the one we are working on. Before now, we've been saving it on this part. But because of the changes we have as a result of the LOS generator, we started saving it on this location. So you can see, anytime you are creating a new month for quick LOS, you create, for instance, this one was done in June. You name the folder, the year you are working on, the date you are updating it. For instance, today is 30th of August. Let's assume that today is the day I want to update the month for the quick LOS for June. So what I will do is that I will create a new folder. I've already done it here, but I'm just giving us a sample. Let's assume that I'm just updating quick LOS for June. Today is 30th of August. What I will do is that the year I'm working on is 2023. The month I'm working on is what? August, right? 08. And then today's date is 30th, right? Then I'll do till June. Okay. What this helps us to know is that we want to know the particular day you updated the month of June quick LOS. Okay. So when you have this done, after you finish updating your quick LOS gross and net, you then come and paste it into this folder. Do we understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but I'll be deleting this one I just created because I've already updated for June. I just created this as a sample. So I'll delete this now. So I'm going back now to my desktop. Most time I interface between my desktop. When I'm done updating on my desktop, I will come and paste it into the folder I just created. So now I'm going back to my desktop. I want to go and update the remaining tabs in my quick LOS. In my quick LOS, the other type I have gross, or I have field LOS, I have well LOS, I have trend, I have and all that. In the slide, you'll see what I told us to update. I say how to update the quick LOS, the folder location. This is the folder location. It says step to updating the quick LOS. Create the current month folder, e.g., just like what I've told us now. Say create a copy of the monthly database to quick LOS, which is what I told us in saving a copy of that monthly database for June. Creating a copy of the monthly database is what I have here. Okay. The best way to do it is that you duplicate from the monthly database you generated from Wolfpack, you just do move or create a copy, and then you paste it so that it will come, it will come into this part. Okay, so once you are done with that, let me go back to my slide. So you change the formula to manual, copy the formula of the previous month's monthly database from column IS to JR and paste it. So these are the steps which is what I've told us. Then you update your working interest section on DS tab is what I've told us, where we are updating the working interest. You say you update column X and column Q using your S lookup. That is what I told us about now, right? I'm just reiterating my points. Then you copy and paste as value. You copy and paste as value. That's the working interest. Paste the working interest. I'm just trying to update it. So that's what I told us about, that after you've updated your working interest and NRR. Sorry, I'm updating it here. After you have done updating with your S lookup, you copy and paste as value. That's the figure that you have there. Okay. Then start updating the quick LOS tab for the months. That's what we want to do now. Okay. Once you go through my slide after this training, you'll be able to get all the details, because sometimes it might not look clear, but by the time you will watch the video and go through the slide, you will understand it better. So now we are going back to our working interest, our quick LOS rather. So this is the first tab we are to update. I've told us that we unhide whatever we have here so that you can see the current month you are working on. Then you copy this previous month, okay? And then you paste it into this current month as formula, okay? When you paste as formula, you discover that this will still be having the same dates as the last month, and also this part also has the same as last month. So what you have to do is that you change this, because we are working on June, not May. May, we already have the May figure. You change this into June, right? Then in order to hide this, because this is not supposed to show this, if you click on this cell, you see that if you are looking at this cell, it looks as if there's nothing there, right? By the time you click into it, you discover that there's a number into it. So what you have to do is that we don't want this to keep showing, the two of them to be showing. What you do is that you move your cursor here to hide whatever you have here. Then you come into this cell and update. If you don't update this, by the time you change your formula, you change your calculation into automatic, this will still be reading as what you have here, because this is what is picking. This formula that we have here is picking from here. So you have to adjust this into this current month we are working on, which is June. So I've told us you copy this formula, right? And then you paste the formula here. Update these dates into what you are working on. I'm working on June here. So whatever is either July, August, whatever it is, you keep changing it. You unhide this, pick the month you are working on, hide the remaining months, change, copy this formula, paste it into the new month you are working on. Change the month you are working on for this one is June. Then whatever you have here, you drag here so that this part will be hidden as well, okay? And then you change it into the current month you are working on. We are working on the month of June, okay? So when you are done, this part is settled. Gross all is done. You move to the next tab, which is field LOS. The same process goes for this as well. You unhide it. Hide the remaining months you don't need. We don't need this other month because we are working on the month of June. You hide it, okay? And then copy this and then paste it as formula, okay? So the same applies to this part. You can see that this one also is showing here. So what you do is that you drag here and then update here into June or whatever month you are working on. Then here as well, you change it because this is 2 months. We don't need the 2 months to this. We only need 1 month. We change it to the current month, to June. Okay, so we are done with this part. You can see that it's not that difficult. Then you go into the next tab, which is well LOS. The well LOS as well, you unhide this. Oh, sorry. You unhide it. We are working on the month of June. Hide the remaining months. And then copy this. And then paste as formula. Please always mind you, make sure you paste as formula. If you paste as figure, you should just pick only the value which you have here into this part. You always paste as formula. So the same thing applies to this part too. You change this into the month you are working on. You are working on the month of June. You change this one also into the month you are working on. You are working on the month of June. Then you move to this other one, trend LOS. The trend LOS is a little bit slightly different from this one because you don't have all these ones that you have here. So this trend LOS, though you still need to unhide, okay? And then hide the months you don't need. So we are working on the month of June. The same way you copy the formula of this part and then you paste the formula here. Update this into June. Okay, then you go to trend detail. Unhide this. Hide the months you don't need. And then copy the formula here. Paste the formula. Change this into June. Then we go to this trend LOS field. I will still tell us what all this mean, so that in case you need to extract. I don't know there. Okay, it's Iyanu. Iyanu, you are here, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Iyanu.
Yes.
So these are things you could do. All those times you normally tell me to help you extract a field and all that. I will show you how you could go, but you have to be careful so that you don't tamper with the original data. Because sometimes probably I might be busy with some other thing. You can go into the quick LOS and pull out data yourself. Okay, but be careful not to tamper with the figure while copying or copying anything else. I will show you what you need to do. So here now, this is, we unhide this as well. What we are doing now is just to update the quick LOS to the current month we are working on, okay? So you unhide this. Sorry, my mouse is malfunctioning. Let me use my, what's happening? Sorry. Mouse is not working. Okay. Just a minute, please. My mouse is malfunctioning. What's wrong with this mouse? I mean, my village people are controlling my mouse. Sorry, let me use my second mouse. I don't know why this one is misbehaving. Okay. So we unhide this as well. What's wrong? Is it that this laptop is messed? Good. Hope it's not that this laptop is misbehaving. The mouse is not responding very well. But I don't know what's happening. The mouse is malfunctioning. And even the laptop mouse, this thing too is not working appropriately too. Oh good. What's wrong with this? I will still have other parts to go. Oh good. Ayoma. Escape. Sorry. Control Shift Alt Delete. Okay. So it seems it's better now. So you unhide and hide the months you don't need. Copy the formula just as I said, and then you paste as formula here. Change this into June. Okay, then this is the last tab we are working on. This one is different from others in the sense that this you just need to change into the particular month. You can change it to any month you want, but because we are working for June, sometimes I need to extract details from here for maybe January or whatever. You just change as appropriate. Can also change to maybe 2022 or 01, whatever you just feel like changing the data to. So since we are working for the month of June, change it to June. Okay. So once you are done up to this last tab, which is month, you can then go back to your formula and change it to automatic. Okay. So now it start calculating. You give it some time to finish calculating. The quick LOS doesn't the quick LOS gross does not really take much time. It's the net, because the net is a bit has so many formulas playing out into it. I guess it's done calculating. It's always very fast compared to, okay, saying ready, that means it's done calculating. So when we go into it now, you discover that the listing has been updated. For instance, let me change, go to this. This is a month of total revenue. Is that what we have? 206. Yeah, it has applied. You can see now this is total revenue here, and that's the same thing as what we have here. It's the same as what we have here, the total revenue here for June. If you change this to May now, you see that it will calculate for what we have in May. Consider it as. But what I normally do is that sometimes if I'm not sure if the thing has calculated or not, I can just click on this calculate now. So when I put on calculate now, I'll just keep watching this. You see that this part have changed. The total revenue for May is saying 227. You can go into the gross LOS and check for May. Gross LOS for May. The total revenue here is saying 227. Are you seeing it? So I'll just quickly explain what all this involve. So the gross LOS or the gross OR tells us the summary of all these wells that we have that produce during the month, a particular month. So this gross OR is trying to tell us the summary. All these items we have here, these are wells, different wells. That's why we have property, we have the Wolfpack code, and these are the group, okay, that we have here. So this gross OR summarizes all what we have here into this. So it tells us that all the well that we have in the month of May, the total quantity of oil they produce is this. In the month of June, this is the total quantity they produce. For gas, they produce this. In the month of June, they produce this. And the same with other months if you want to go back. Then it's telling us that the total oil sales is this for May. The total oil sales for June is this. So it's just for you to read into details, for you to pick you can decide to check up on anything that, oh, what is the total oil we produce? What's the total quantity? What's the total labor cost? This, for this part now, it's telling us that the total labor cost for the month of June is this. In the month of May is this. The total labor cost for June is this, okay? Just data extraction that we'll be doing here. Then for field LOS, from what we have here, usually our wells, I believe you must have seen a particular video where they explain how the fields and the well go about, right? Hello? Hope you are familiar with a particular video that shows us when we talk about field and when we talk about well. When we talk about field, it means some group of well produced into that field. Though sometimes we could have a well being still being the sole producer into a field, but whenever you have field, it's usually combination of wells producing into that field. For instance, we have this George West. It means that there are some group of wells that produced into George West. And how can we extract this? You can go into this, for instance, this June, right? You can extract this, the group George West. So this is a George West group. These are the wells under George West. It means roots Unitas 1, 2, then Comel 1, and Recha 1. These are the wells that produce into this George West. Okay? Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I can still go further by checking other fields. For instance, like all those times that usually tell me to extract, that usually tell me to extract some fields. This is where I go into it. So you can decide to look into, let's say, grow estate now. If I click on grow estate here now, I will allow it to calculate. It means that in the month of, this is March now, the total quantity of gas produced by all the fields, all the wells in grow estate is 5,818. Okay? They did none of the well produce oil in the month of March rather. Okay, so that's how you read into detail. The sales, gas sales is this, no revenue from oil. So this part now, you use it to pick any group of field you are trying to work on. And then this well LOS, the well LOS now is just like all these wells that we have here, but it presents it in a better form. All these wells that we have here, the well LOS presents it in a better form. You can see how it looks more tidied up and more, it looks more tidy compared to whatever you found in this well LOS. You can still find it in any of these months. And the beauty of this well LOS is that it summarizes it month by month, or like this one that you only have detail for May, for June. Here you have only detail for May. Here you only have detail for April. So the well LOS help us to extract well by well. So any well you want to work on, it's just for you to pick the name of the well you want to work on. By the time you pick it, the Wolfpack number will come up by itself. So there's a choose function that was applied in this part. So it's for you to, by the time you change your cursor, and your cursor changes to what, you can see how my cursor is now. It allows you to pick anything you want to pick. So any of the well. So if, for instance, you want to pick some group of fields, wells into a field, it's just for you to check what are the names of the wells that flow into that fields. How do you do that? This is where you come and check it. Okay. So for instance, now this is Adam Corps. This is the well that flows into Adam Corps field. Adam Corps, and then Adams Unit 1, and then Corps A1. These are the two wells that flow into Adam Corps field. Okay. So these are just for you to know how to go around your in looking for your information. So what I want to take our attention to is that usually what I do is that after updating this quick LOS, I will go to Net LOS. Net LOS is almost similar to Quick LOS in the sense that you have everything you have here. All these months and all this tab, you have it. The only difference is that in net LOS next, you don't impute, you don't copy this part straight off. You only have a blank space or a blank tab in your gross annual in your LOS net. You have a blank space. Okay, let me open it so that you understand what I'm saying. Oh, okay, I don't have it here. Let me just open the one I've done before now. But I copied this desktop. So the same way where we save our Quick LOS gross, that's the same place, that's the folder location in OneDrive. That's the same place we save our Quick LOS net. Oh, why is it not here? I thought I copied this here. Oh, yes. This it's net. Not as much. The net LOS usually take a couple of time because it's very heavy. It's more heavier than the Quick LOS gross. So let's just give it some time to open. Oh, we're running out of time. So while it's opening, let me just go to the slide so that I will just brief you on what we are to do on LOS net. So in this slide now, there are some videos that Mr. Vikan had with me while he was doing the training for me. I've put those videos here. So by the time you copy this and paste it into your Chrome, you should be able to access. Some of them are meeting videos, while some of them are pre-recorded videos is sent to me. So this will also give you more understanding into what I've been saying. So you have access to watching these videos. So I will just be moving into the net LOS. The net LOS, I said, is slightly different from the gross LOS in the sense that you create a new month tab, an empty month, or like the gross LOS, I told us that we are going to copy the monthly database into the particular. Let me see if it's open. It takes a whole lot. It's still running. So it's that. Let me just go. So for the net LOS, for instance, let me minimize this. So one is open. Instead of yours copying or transporting this particular month tab into the Quick LOS, for net LOS, you only impute a new month by doing insert. Let me see if it's opened. Oh, it takes a whole lot of time to open. And I don't want to open it down because if I open it, it will be slowing down my as I'm going. It's usually it takes a whole lot of time. That's why I didn't open it down. Still running. Still running. Usually takes a whole lot of time. So what I mean is that for the net LOS, let's assume that this is our net LOS. That's what is preventing this thing from opening. Takes a whole lot of time to preventing this from opening. Let me see if I can go to the remote PC to do what I need to do. Okay. I'll just open the quick LOS to show us what I'm saying. By the time it opens on my local disk on my laptop, then okay. All right, let's assume that this is my net LOS. Mind you, this is gross, but I want to use this as the net LOS. What I will do is that I will insert a new month, a fresh month, without anything, an empty tab. I will insert an empty tab into it. Okay. This one, let's assume that this is our net LOS. I will insert a new tab. So the new tab now, I will name it into the month I want to work. For instance, I'm working for June, but I won't be able to name June because this one has June already. It will not allow me to name it. So now I will just name it as 2023-07. Okay. So for net LOS, you are inserting a fresh tab, an empty tab into your cell. All right. The first, okay, before you do your net LOS, please mind you must open gross LOS down. Okay, the gross LOS, because it works with the gross LOS. That's the beauty of the net LOS. The gross LOS must be opened down. If not, it won't apply properly. So you open your gross LOS down, and then you open your quick LOS. This the different. This place for the net has net here. Hope you are seeing my cursor. So it has net here. So by the time you open it, you insert a fresh tab of the month you are working. Then you go into formula and change the formula just as we did into manual. Okay, if not, it will take a whole lot of time for you to process any data. So by the time you are done inserting a fresh tab, let me see, it seems it has opened finally. Okay, yes, it's still, even at that, it's still calculating. All right, so it's open now. So what I will do is that I will insert a fresh month. I will insert a new month, which is so for this one, I'm working for the month of June. Enable. Okay, always if this thing is showing enable it before you can proceed. Let me change the formula. It's calculating again, you can see. So change it into manual. So change it to manual. Then we've updated it up to June before now. So I want to update for, we've updated up to May rather. So I want to update for June. I have a fresh tab inserted. I will name it for the month I'm working on, the month of June. So what I will do is that the first thing to do is that when you have a fresh tab, you go into this previous month, you copy everything you have here. So you copy everything you have here. Let me go control. I like seeing what I'm working on so that I will move on. So copy everything you have here and paste as formula here. Paste as formula. You can see the difference between this. The other, for quick LOS, we only update the IX cell down to the other cells. But for this net LOS, you copy this previous month. everything you have there, you paste as formula. What I normally do is that after I've finished pasting as formula, I usually use this brush, because if I leave it like this, it won't look very well. So after I finish pasting as formula here, I will just brush it up so that I have almost what I have in this previous month. Still covering it. Why? Just a minute. I want to open it up. I don't know why it's small. Okay, so you can see that this part has a formula in it. You don't do anything to this part. This one picks up anything you have here. So when you finish pasting as formula, you change this part into 6. By the time you change it to 6 and you change your formula to automatic, this will change. But I don't want to change it now. So once you are finished pasting the formula and updating this to the month you are working on, which is June, you go into this data distribution as well. You go and update your working interest. So we also go the same route we did for the quick LOS by using XLOOKUP. Okay, I hope we remember the way I told us to do the XLOOKUP. So you have to update the working interest. You can update from your auxiliary line interest, or you update from the quick LOS, because you have updated your quick LOS before now. So you can use your quick LOS to update this. So after you've done your XLOOKUP, paste this as value so that the formula will be taken out. You only have the numbers here. So once you are done, these are the key things here. So if you are done with this part, you start updating the same way we have. If you notice, the first one we have in our quick LOS says gross all. So this one is net, or the difference between net LOS and quick LOS is that the net LOS doesn't bring in royalty burden. Usually empty for the net LOS. It takes it out. That's why it is called net LOS. The royalty burden is usually empty. Every other thing we apply, but the royalty burden will, but it's assumed that they have given the royalty to the royalty interest owners. So this, once you have done, you will go the same route by updating. You open up. You can see here we have some cells that are hidden. You unhide it, copy the formula of this old month, paste it. Then we also have that. Okay, we don't have that one here. So you copy here, paste, you move into your other months, copy, paste, just like we did for our quick LOS gross. The same thing you do for up to this month. Okay, so we are done with this quick LOS and net LOS. Do we have any question? Do we have any question, please?
No.
Okay, so I'll be closing this. So usually when I'm done updating the quick LOS and the net LOS, what I normally do is that I usually check the top wells, both for the quick LOS and the net LOS. And how I do that is that I will go to the trend LOS. I will select for the particular month I'm working. Let me use quick LOS to do this now. Let me use the quick LOS gross to do this. So what I normally do is that I will check the top wells. I use my EBITDA plus overhead as the criteria. I want to check the wells that are the top producers, the wells that have the highest EBITDA plus overhead. So I will filter for this June now. I'm working for June. I will do sort from largest to the smallest. I will make sure that my formula is already on automatic. If not, it might not give me what I need. Either you put it on automatic or each time you put. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Network issues for you. Wow.
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. So what I normally do is that I usually check the top 20 wells for the particular month I'm working on. For the month of June, oh, I have to close the net LOS is the one that is making this thing to be taking time. It takes a whole lot of time, don't save. But whatever you are doing, you know, at the end of the day, you have to save it. Why I'm leaving now this one is that's why it doesn't take our time. Let me move to the now. That's what I normally face when I'm doing it. The file is very heavy. Sometimes I will have to shut down my system. Hold on, after a while, I come back to it. File is very, very, very heavy. You can see how it's doing. Yeah, it's done now. So, okay, this gross LOS. What I do is that each month, after I've updated the quick LOS gross and the quick LOS net, I will filter for the top wells using EBITDA as the first criteria. So I will check the largest to the smallest. I will sort it. Then I'll go to my formula and do calculate now. So by the time I do calculate now, and it has finished calculating for me, these are the top wells. I'll use my listing. If you look at this part now, it's counting the wells for me. Just put your eye on this part so that you see it. No, field rather. I'm using the this is trend LOS. So I will filter it. I will start calculating up to 20. I do the top 20 wells. The top 20. You can see up to this point are the top 20 wells. Okay. So once I've extracted, I will show you a sample of what the way I usually do it is on remote PC. Last month, I didn't do that because I was having some custom extracts for Mr. Peter. So it was much I left out, but I did it for me. Let me check for me. Let me check April. You can see what I have here. I have the top 20 wells, fields, and then the bottom fields as well. Okay, so this is what I normally do. I will do a summary of it. Though after filtering it, I will come and paste it here. These are the top 20 fields. These are their EBITDA plus overhead figure. This is their EBITDA. It's just for you to be adjusting. This is the EBITDA. You can then adjust this same. You will leave it as what you have here. What you do is, since you filter this, don't touch this again. You will just be filtering here the total EBITDA. You don't touch this. You only adjust this part. It will calculate. Because if you adjust this again, it's possible that the well that had the highest EBITDA plus overhead might not be the same well that will come as the highest EBITDA alone. So if you have adjusted this for the top well with overhead, don't adjust this again. You only come here and be adjusting to check, okay, all these wells that we say are the top wells with EBITDA, what is the total EBITDA that they have? What is the total recurring expenses? Well, you just keep changing as at whatever you want to. Okay, so you keep adjusting from that aspect. Then when you are done extracting it, for you to now get the LOS for that particular field you have picked, you go back to your field LOS. So each name for that field, you then pick. You can see what I have here. After I've picked all these fields out, I will now start extracting the particular field. What's the LOS? Field LOS for this, field LOS for this, field LOS for this, field LOS for this, up to the 20 wells. Then I also do the bottom wells. So what I do is that the bottom wells, the bottom well, I will just change this trend. This is the one I normally use to do this. Is not this trend. Is this trend detail, this place. So I will come here. I use this trend LOS field total. This is what I use rather. So if I'm done with this part, I will check the bottom wells too. How I get the bottom well is that I will go back to this my filter. I will do the smallest to the largest. This is where you use to extract the trend LOS field total. So these are the bottom wells. You can see Greylock, it has a negative of 10,675 as the EBITDA plus overhead. So you also count the same way I did. You count up to 10. I usually do the bottom 10. So these are the bottom 10 fields. This is a tab you go to, not this one. This is a tab, the trend LOS field total. This is where you go to. So this is the bottom fields I have for April. So the same way I did I'll pick the fields. What's the EBITDA? What's the EBITDA plus overhead? What's the EBITDA? What's the total revenue? What's the total OPEX? What's the net cash flow? And then I also have a percentage. I want to know what's the total percentage of revenue they've contributed to the total. This revenue here is the total revenue for that month. For the month of April, this is the total revenue we have. So I just did a calculation that, okay, what's the contribution of each of these wells that have the lowest EBITDA? What's their contribution to total revenue? It's just when you are doing this, you could come up with different insight, like, okay, let's check what's the highest, what are the wells that we have the highest OPEX on? What are the wells that we have the highest capital expenditure on? It's just for you to go out anyhow you want to extract your data, anyhow you feel that the data you're extracting from Quick LOS will inform decision. That's what all this extra extraction are for. Okay, so now I'm done with this. Next on my slide is so also if you go through this, you also I explain how you can update your net LOS. Okay. Okay, these are the add-on. What I told that's what I just finished explaining, that I do top 20 fields. Then I mentioned how to go about it, the bottom fields, net and gross. Then you can still customize further. That's what I just mentioned. I can still customize further, top fields with the highest OPEX, whatever is your cost. You are the one that will just, or anyhow you feel that, oh, if I extract this information, it will help management in making decisions. That's what I have as this part, as a add-on. Okay. So now we are going to move. This is the one that Mr. Vikram just introduced, the how to go about it, how to generate a custom group. When we talk about custom group, it means that if, for instance, you want to extract some wells and want to group those wells as a particular, want to group them under a particular name. For instance, if you look at this LOS we have here now, you can see these are the group that we have. These are the different groups we have. We have Greylock, O'Connor Ranch, Bocelli, we have West Castle School Board, Webb County School Board, we have Bradfield. Sometimes we can decide to rename this group into another name. That's what we mean by customizing our group. For instance, we might want to decide to check what are all the wells that we have in our East Texas region, or what are all the wells that we have in O'Connor Ranch. This particular customized one, it usually comes under request. Like Mr. Peter could request that, could you please extract LOS under East Texas or South Texas or any, it could just come in any way. So it's for you to now know how to go about it. So for instance, the last one he requested for was the East Texas. And if you look at this group, there's nothing like East Texas. These are all the names that we have. There's nothing like East Texas. But some of all these group they are under East Texas, but we didn't group it as East Texas. They only group it as county by county, county by county, not by the region. So what I did was that Mr. Vikan sent me how I can go about the in modifying this group LOS. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing now. Let me just bring up what I did the last time. This it's no, not this East Texas custom LOS. So what's the first step to customizing an LOS is that you will duplicate the quick LOS. Copy the quick LOS you have for that particular month. You duplicate it. For instance, I wanted to extract the wells that are under East Texas. I copied the normal quick LOS and then I renamed the quick LOS into quick LOS custom group East Texas. Let's open it up so I will see what is there. If I'm done with this, I might not go into working interest. There's a video I've attached to because we've really run far of time. I've attached the videos. Probably if I'm able to do this custom group, you watch the video. The video is self-explanatory. How you can extract the DOI. The DOI is the distribution of interest we use in updating the working interest. Once you watch it, you should be able to understand it. But we are running out of time now so that we could get to do other things. Okay, from the slide, before the particular this thing open, I said this is used to categorize some group of wells as one field, e.g. Winterman or St. Chalk, Houston County or East Texas. So the customized group, we usually use it to group of wells into a field. So to achieve this, we modify the DX tab from column. Okay, let me even put this one. Duplicate, let me put this. Duplicate the quick LOS and rename it okay. So for us to do that, you duplicate the quick LOS and rename it to the custom group. Okay, just like what I've told us here now. Quick LOS viewer custom group East Texas. So after you have duplicated your quick LOS, you name it to the custom group. When you name it to the custom group, let me see if it has opened. Okay, yeah, it's open now. So you go to your data distribution column, these parts. What we'll be doing is that we'll change. It's just that I don't want to open the quick LOS. The old quick LOS and this one are just customized. The names that are here are quite different from what we have here. Okay, so what we'll do is that we modify these parts, this O and K. Those are the parts we modify. And how do we do it? We use the SLOOKUP as well. We use SLOOKUP to do this modification. What I did was that I went to the Perry-Well list. If you look at this part now, you see there's Perry-Well list. That's where I did my SLOOKUP from. The Perry-Well list, we already have, I don't want to open it because it's also heavy. The Perry-Well list have our wells grouped into region, into county, and all that. So what I did was that since on the Perry-Well list, I have different wells that are grouped. Okay, let me just open it. Since this might be let me open the Perry-Well list. I have a copy of it saved on my desktop. Let me open the Perry-Well list. But it will take some time to open. Just have to hold on. Very well, it takes some time to open. This thing is taking time. All right, before it opens, I just wanted to show you how the wells are being grouped. So what I did is that on the Perry-well list, wells have been don't update, okay. So this is what we have on the Perry-well list. These are the wells. These are the Wolfpack number. This is a RLC, which you don't usually use on Wolfpack. Then these are the counties. You can see the counties and then the region. These are the region, okay? The other cells, I hid it while I was trying to work so that I can see what I'm working on. But what I needed is this well name, this Wolfpack number, as well as the region, okay? So what I did was I did an S lookup. I wanted to pick up what my interest was actually the East Texas. Where you see ETX is East Texas, and we also have South Texas. We have the Gulf and all that. Okay, my interest, since I filtered this, there's a part I filtered. Okay, yeah, I filtered it. So these are all the regions we have here. We have the Gulf region, the South Texas, the East Texas region. So I was trying to extract for the East Texas. What I did was I did an S lookup of so this is my quick LOS. These are the two parts we need to modify, and this one is tied to these names that are here. They are tied to this Proline number. I said Proline, sorry, Wolfpack number rather. These names here, they are tied to this Wolfpack number, and then these names here as well, they are tied to this Wolfpack number. So these are the two parts, your area of concentration, this with this, F with K, and then O with your P. So I wanted to modify what I had before now so that I can extract all the East Texas well. What I did was that I did an S lookup into this cell. You can see I did S lookup P, S lookup of this number because that's my interest, not just their name. S lookup of this Perry-well, then I went to Perry-well list to select. Okay, let me just do it so that you see what I did here. I did S lookup. just like the first S lookup I showed us. Then you go to your Perry-Well list. My lookup array, I went to this my Wolfpack number, Control-Shift down. Then my interest was the East Texas, but there are other regions that are there. I can't just extract only East Texas when I have other region. Then I come here, make sure you start from the beginning so that it doesn't give you a wrong. And then the return value is saying that I should X lookup value, lookup array, which is the lookup array is this my Wolfpack number. Then what is the return value? I want to return it to East Texas, to the region rather. I want to return it to the region. Then if, for instance, the well I have on my Quick LOS customized is not on this region, what should you return it to? It means I said you should return it to 0. Okay. Just a minute to come up. 2 minutes. Okay, so it has applied now. It has applied to this part. So what you then do is you drag down or you do this, all the formula we apply to other parts. This is my formula. After, when I'm done with this, I will update this one as well. The same way I did this, I will do the S lookup as well, because these two parts, they all flow into all this. If you look, for instance, let me, oh God, this thing is, I want you to finish calculating. Let me check if the formula is in automatic. Okay, it's in automatic. That means all this has applied. You can see now. Just give me a minute. Let me open the old Quick LOS so that you see what I'm saying. You will see that this part is different from what we have in the Quick LOS, the old Quick LOS. This is our normal Quick LOS gross. Just a minute. Let it come up so that you'll be able to compare the two. So the data distribution tab. You can see what we have here. It shows this well name here, right? Okay. So in our customized Quick LOS, you can see that it has picked it because I want the well that are under Gulf region to be grouped as Gulf region, the one that are under East Texas to be grouped as East Texas. So the same thing I did, the same S lookup I did here, I will also do it here. But now I'm going to start from 0 because this Wolfpack number started from this part. So I have to start from this part too. I will do my S lookup from here. Unlike this one, because the Wolfpack number started from P4, I will start from P4. But this Wolfpack number started from F1 here. I will start from K1 here. Okay, then you drag down. When you drag down your formula, it will apply. If you now go to all this tab now, you see that this part has been changed. These wells now have now been grouped. Rather than being grouped as under county, they are now being grouped under their region. Okay, this is our modified Quick LOS. I want us to check our normal Quick LOS. This is our normal Quick LOS. You can see what we have here. All right. Oh, I don't want to show you. Okay, let's see. You can see. Okay, sorry. Once we are done updating this DS, we'll go into this, each of the months. For instance, Adibi, we wanted to extract the East Texas region. After we've updated this part, we'll also go into this part and update it. We'll go into each of the months and update it. So what we'll do is that, for instance, if we're looking for customized group from January 2023 to December, so what you just do is that you just come into this month and be updating it. These are our normal quick LOS, okay? Let me go back to our customized quick LOS. The customized quick LOS, once you are done updating this part, the O and then the K, the period which you want to extract the customized quick LOS, you also have to update it. When I was doing this, I did it from January 2022 to June 2020. No, January 2022 to June 2023. I want to show us something. So I did these updates. I did these updates from here. Formula is, let me change this formula to manual so that it can allow me show you what I want. Just a minute, please. Let me change this to manual. So I updated this. Once you are done updating the DS tab, you also have to update the period which you want to pick the figure. You also have to update it. You can see I did an S lookup from the data distribution so that any part of this well that is East Texas, it will group it as East Texas. The one that is South Texas, it will group it. The one that is Gulf, I did an S lookup the same way we do our S lookup. S lookup this number, S lookup this. The lookup array, I went to do it from this data distribution. From this, I picked this, then I selected this. Okay, I don't know if you. So what I did is, let me just do it, X lookup, so that this month I'm working on, we also have those names. Because if I don't update these parts, the thing is that if I don't update this part, and I want to select my field LOX, it will tell me that there is no field that has that. It will be giving me 0 because all these months I'm working on have not updated up to the region. This is a field LOS. So if I pick any cell here, why all this one is giving me is because I've updated this monthly tab. I have not updated this monthly tab. For instance, let me show you something. The tab I updated was from 2022 January up to 2023 June. You can see that 2022 still has some figures in it, right? I don't know if you look into these cells, you see that 2022 January has figure. I've not updated 2021. That's why it's showing me 0. Okay, it's showing me that there is no well that has any figure that has that recognized, and then all these other ones too. Probably in the month of maybe in 2017, some wells were grouped as East Texas, and that's why this figure is pulling out. For instance, let's go into 2021, let's say 2021 January. All these ones we are seeing, please put an eye on this group. You can see that we have all this here. Let's go to 2021 December or any 2021. You discover that all these parts are not there. 2021 December. You see? Hope you are taking note of this. It's because I didn't update. You can see this part. I didn't update this formula. All these ones are still having the name of the group, the previous group that they were grouped as. That's why it's having all this. The same with this. But from 2022 January, that's where I updated from. You can see that this, even the formula is still there. I left the formula for this particular one. You can see. Do we have any question for customized group? Do you understand how to go about getting LOS for customized group? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Do we
ma'am.
understand how to extract or how to go about creating LOS for customized group?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Though I also attached the video Mr. Vikram did and also the text instruction. This is the video he did that he used in explaining it to me. And this is the text instruction. The text instruction, you can get it. I've saved a copy of the text instruction on this folder. So you can also go to this folder, read through the text instruction, also watch the video to generate a customized goal. Then for working interests, because of our time, I won't be able to go into working interest because that one also takes a lot of time. You go through it using Wolfpack as well. It takes a whole lot of time to update working interest. So I won't want to go into that now. But if peradventure when I'm back from leave and if you think you don't understand the video, I can have another training section for the working interest. But that was a video I used and I understood it and I was able to generate the working interest. So this is the video. This video now, it has other videos in it. That's why I mentioned the particular one that is for working interest. I said video 12, 13. There are 3 videos. The first one talks about how to generate the DOI. You first download the DOI from Wolfpack. When you download the DOI, you then start copying the DOI into your working interest file. Let me show you a sample here. Working interests. For instance, when you download the DOI for this one is for IV1. The video will give you, this is how the DOI is, to tell you what are the things to do when you download it, how to change this to number and all that. So by the time you download the DOI, you have this is a template I normally use for my working interest. Whenever I want, I have a copy of the template I use. So the first thing I do is that these parts, these 2 parts, I update with the last month's working interest and NRI. I'll copy the last month's updated. On this folder, I have a particular one I said updated. The updated means the final working interest I've generated. So what I do is I will open this part. Yeah, so this is the normal updated working interest. For instance, I did this one for June. So if I'm to do for July, I will update this working interest file, which I named my there is one I named it working interest working file. I named it a working interest working file because it's like a template which I use to update my working interest. You can see all these formulas are there. So instead of me doing every month I'm recalculating, I already have this formula I've already imputed this formula. What I do is I will just update last month's working interest I have. I will copy and paste into the new. Look at the name I have here is auxiliary working interest working file. This one is like a template I use in updating it. So the last month's updated working interest, which is what I have here, I will copy it and then paste it into this part so that this one has the current month's working interest. Then when I download my DOI, this one is DOI working interest for Perry, DOI working interest for NRL for Perry. I have for IV1, IV. In the video, they downloaded for IV2, but Mr. Peter said we should stop updating for IV2, that we should only be working with Perry IV1. So in the video, you will see that they downloaded for Perry and Perry resources. But the one we are using currently, these are the 3 companies we are using: Perry, IV1, Progress. So you might not necessarily need to download the Perry resources because most of the wells in Perry resources, they have been sold out. So what Mr. African told me is that I can be checking it monthly in case there is a change in a particular month. So I just do that just for formality's sake. That you can see this is it. Let me open it. I just do it for formality, just to check. Just as I said, you can see all the wells are sold out. They are all sold well. So he said I should be checking it in case there might be a month, maybe a new well could be bought into Perry Resources. So each month I still download for it, but I just check. Once I notice that they are still sold, I don't update it on our working interest. So for the working interest, we have Perry, we have IV1, we have Progress. Then for this Perry combines Perry and IV1 as one. Then Progress is company on its own. Okay, just once you watch the video, it's self-explanatory. That was what I used, and I was able to work with it, and I've been updating the working interest every month. I update for that month. I use the working interest to update the quick LOS and then the admin overhead. That's what I said. The working interest, I use it to update the LOS and then the admin overhead. Those are the basic things I use it for. And then I update it on the file. This is the file where I update it on OneDrive. This is the name of the file location where I update it on. So every month, each, just like, let me just go and open it so that you see it. Just a minute. So we have it on, the working interest is on a upstream, order file, accounting, then working interest. So this is the one for June. I updated for June. Before I do the July, this thing, I will update it. Okay, so every month I'll update it. You can see from here till June, I have it last updated in June. I'll update other months as I keep working. But before now, I do updates like month to month. I discovered that I might not be able to get the working interest for that particular month. So what I do is that each month I'm working on, for instance, we'll be working on July production. I will set my DOI to the end of, let me just show you the first step. So for working interest, the first step for it, the same way you go through Wolfpack also for you to do your working interest. So for this now, you go to Wolfpack. Unlike the other one, when we're downloading for monthly database, we went to this app. For this working interest, you just go to Wolfpack straight up. Here, you open this part. This will take some time. Let's just leave it at that. Watch the video since the video is there so that it doesn't take our time. If you now watch it and you feel you don't understand, I can, but it's self-explanatory, just as I said, it's self-explanatory. I watched the video and I was able to, where's my slide? So this is my slide. I've already put the video. The video you have to watch for working. There are other videos that are here. Use video 13, 12, 13, 14. Let me just copy this so that you see it. You copy this and then paste it into your browser. So these are all this is what I was saying. These are other videos that are there. So the video you have to watch for working interest is video 12, 13, and 14. The other one I sent you is for this ProLift compressor. I sent you a video for ProLift compressor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you have all that, if you have time, you can still go through all these. These are the monthly tasks I work on. I do Accra imports, several tax, insurance, fee supervision, though there are some of them that we have modified, just as I told you. Modelo is still as it used to be. So, but for working interest, you can go through these 3 videos. You will understand how to generate the working interest. So, do we have any question?
No, nothing from me.
Okay. So who can tell us the things we looked at in today's training? What are the things we considered in the training for today? You might not necessarily tell me detail, this, how to do this, how to, just let me know what are the things we looked at in today's training. Angela mentioned one, so that Agbeni will mention one, then Iyanu will mention one.
Okay. database. So we know that how to extract the monthly database from the WOFPA like websites.
Okay.
Fix it.
Agbenu, mention one thing we talked about today.
I don't
Agbenu,
think she's on the call.
what do you say?
I don't think she's on the call. I think it's just me and Iyanu.
Okay, Agbenu is on call.
I'm here, but I didn't hear what you said.
I said you should mention one of the things we looked at in today's training. What are the things? Just mention one point of the training, what the training was about for today.
How to build and extract the LOS. And you explained how that the concept of fields and wells, leases rather.
Yan, what did we look at in today's training?
We also looked at how we can update the net LOS.
Okay. So I will send my slide after this. Now the videos are attached on the slide. The steps, some of the steps of what I mentioned are also on the slide, so you can go through it. So if you feel there are some other things, but that will be after my leave. I will be on leave from Monday. So if there are other things you feel you need me to explain further, let me know. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll
Thank
send the
you.
slide out. You're welcome. Now have a lovely nice rest. So Amdala, do you know how to upload the video on YouTube?
No, I don't. I'll reach out to Mr. Bekant.
Okay, we might not necessarily reach out to Uvisha. It seems he was one that did that. Send him the link of this one we have done. Tell him that he should help you and also maybe put you through. Or even me, that I only did it once. I don't think I can remember how to go about. I've uploaded once. I don't think I can remember how to do it because I have some other thing. So just tell him to tell you how to upload it on YouTube so that in case you have other things to upload, you won't necessarily need to contact him for that. When you contact him after my leave, I will still ask you how he went about it because I can't remember how I did. I know I did it once, somehow. I just found my way that I uploaded it, but I can't remember how I did it. So just tell him to tell you how he did it, or he should help you upload it, but he should still tell you how he did the upload on YouTube. So that if you have other training or other videos you don't need to meet him, you just do it yourself. Okay?
Yes,
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
so nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Bye.